Well, hello there, my ghouls and gals. It's Willow here, your favorite gal from Alamo City Horror Squad. If you're new to the channel, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe. If you're already a follower, welcome back, my creepy darlings. And as always, thank you from the bottom of my dark, dark heart for your love and support. Y'all seem to be loving the shit out of our original versus remake series, so I'ma fuck y'all up with another one. In today's video, I've chosen Amityville. The original came out in 1979 and the remake in 2005. This film is based on a true story and details the actual events and supernatural terror experienced by George Lutz and his family after purchasing what they thought was their dream home. Just a year before, Rodney DeFeo Jr. was the only survivor after a mass murder of his parents and siblings. Later, it was found that he admitted to carrying out the killings himself. There's a lot of controversy surrounding the actual reasons why he did it, including supposed demon possession. But the information out there is loose, and I really don't have time to research that shit. There are, however, more supportive facts of his drug use and volatile relationship with his dad. That seems to be what truly attributed to his insanity. So don't do drugs, people, and for fuck's sake, put the fucking shotgun down. So once again, I hope you're sitting in the dark. If not, turn those motherfucking lights off and enjoy this preview of Amityville the original and the remake. Stay tuned for a little story time afterwards to see which one is my favorite. Enjoy.
God's peace in this house. Get out. Get out.
Hello?
Hello, Kathy. Father Delaney, there's something very important.
There was a crime, a murder.
In the house?
Several people, a family.
The accused claims he heard voices coming from within the house.
Well, houses don't kill people.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed those previews. So I just want to put this out there. I'm not a professional, so whenever I review a movie, it's really just based on visually how appealing it is to me. So I'm not a professional, and I'm not going to go into detail about, the cinematography and all of that shit. But I'm going to go ahead and start with the original. I'm going to say first that I think they had a really great cast. The score of the film was on point. If you're watching it with badass surround system, which I did, that was definitely what attributed to me getting scared. Other than that, the movie lacked a lot of the supernatural horror kind of moments that I remembered as a child, because I was very scared after seeing this movie when I was a kid, but watching it again as an adult, I didn't get that same sense. And these are my favorite types of movies. James Brolin was really great as a character, but everything about the storytelling that the actors gave, it didn't feel believable to me. It was just very cold. I know he was a stepfather to the kids, so maybe that's what created such a distance and separation with him and the kids, but I just wasn't buying it. I wasn't buying that this is a family buying their dream home. It just was kind of all over the place, and the mom, what was she wearing in the film? I know this was an independent film, I'm gonna say that. So, usually independent films, they kind of operate on a lower budget. But, I mean, for fuck's sake, she looked like she was in private school, but in elementary school. So I was just completely thrown off by her costuming. And then there's just certain, moments where she's, putting lotion on, and I don't know, she's putting on some lingerie for her husband because they're newlyweds, and then looks like she's doing some kind of ballet move. That kind of threw me off. And I was watching it with my 17-year-old, and they kind of emphasized on their little lovemaking scene, and that was so fucking uncomfortable and just weird. So that threw me off, and I couldn't even focus on why I was watching this movie in the first place, didn't really do anything for me. It was just kind of blah. And I'm usually very biased when it comes to originals. And this time around, I just was not at all enthused. I just really didn't give a shit. It was just, everything I just mentioned to you was pretty much all that stuck in my head. So you can pretty much get from what I just said, that's all I got. I think it sucks that the priest couldn't find some other way to warn the Lutzes about what he experienced in the house. And then her aunt, who was a nun, I mean, she ran out of the house. Like, she couldn't run out of the house and tell her niece, like, hey, your house is fucking haunted. But I don't know. So that's how I feel about that. Let's move on to the remake. Okay, so the remake happened in 2005. That's a long stretch from 1979. You guys do the math because I'm not. But hey, Ryan Reynolds cast as George Lutz. That was very surprising because I've seen him in Deadpool and Just Friends, and he's just someone that I never thought would be cast to do a horror film. But honestly, he fucking did an amazing job. And then my favorite, who I'm going to say is the star of the film, is little Chloe Grace Moretz. I probably said her name wrong, so fucking shoot me, whatever. But she really was the star of the film, and I loved her interactions with the ghost Jody, who is supposed to be Rodney DeFeo's sister. Her interactions with the ghost Jody were pretty awesome, and sometimes it was quite terrifying, especially when she coaxed her onto going onto the roof so she could join her in death and see her dead daddy. That was pretty fucked up, but I liked it. Something that I really did appreciate in this film that I didn't get from the original, is the fact that you finally got to see the family dynamics. In the remake, you finally got to see the kids. In the original, the kids were non-existent, like you barely saw the kids, except for seeing George Lutz chopping fucking wood all the time and Kathy Lutz in her crazy-ass outfits and then the sex scene. But in the remake, you finally got to see this family, who purchases their dream home. Obviously you all know George is the stepdad, so you see him trying his very best to be a good stepdad until he gets brainwashed. And that brings me to the other thing I liked. I love that you finally got to see the brainwashing of George Lutz in the basement, because there you get a sense of what happened to Rodney DeFeo. You didn't just see him chopping wood all the time, so you got to see kind of the terror and just, what caused him to lose his mind, because he almost fucking killed his family. Like, the same shit almost happened again. Like the paranormal scenes in the movie? Not really. Did it scare me? No. Was I able to sleep in the dark afterwards? Yes. It wasn't really scary for me. And I didn't really like I don't like what they did with the teenage son. They did these scenes where, George is being brainwashed into thinking that his family are demons. So, of course, when he looks at his son, his face turns into a demon. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like film editing or special effects, but that was just so fucking sucky, and it looked more like a fucking Snapchat filter. So I kind of laughed at that. I think it was unnecessary. Like, I really didn't give a shit, and it didn't scare me. And I did like how they emphasized on the house supposedly being built on a Native American burial ground, and that there was some type of witchy dude who did some fucked up shit, because when George broke this fucking wall down in the basement, it like opened up into this creepy ass like fucking chamber of horrors. Like, it was a fucking torture chamber, and supposedly this witch whose name is Ketchum, he tortured people and did all kinds of fucking freaky psycho shit to them. So that kind of explains, the hauntings and the paranormal activity happening in the house. Did it scare me? No, that didn't scare me either. I was intrigued, I also like that they took away one holy person, because if you notice in the remake, you didn't see Kathy Lutz's aunt, who is a nun. Because I think that when you have like two people from the church, you know, you had a nun and then you had a priest, and not one of those people could do shit. I mean, that's two fucking holy people from a church, and none of those fuckers could do anything. So I think the producers in the remake deemed it necessary to just leave it down to the priest. So I appreciated that. Other than that, that's all I pretty liked about the remake. And from the sounds of it, you all probably think that the winner for me is the remake, but to be honest, you guys, it really isn't. Both movies were kind of just like blah to me. It didn't scare me. It really didn't have that much of an effect on me. I think the remake was a little unnecessary and kind of a waste of time. But, you know, it had its strong points, and it definitely had better points than the original. So if I had to pick, I'll pick the remake, but that's being nice. But that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let us know if there are any films that you like us to do a review on, or if you have any ideas. And as always, thanks again from Alamo City Horror Squad for your love and support. That's it. Peace, y'all.